Hi guys, my name is Girish Bali, your host for today, Back to Basics. Every week we have Back to Basics and I hope you're enjoying it because I'm surely am. My guests are too, and they're contacting me for every episode that I posted so far and they're loving it. Hope you are doing too. Keep on subscribing. Good comments or bad comments. If it is bad comments, it makes a strong show. With your comments, I will start improving every episode, and every comment is so important to me. So just keep on stay tuning for Fridays and for Mondays episodes. Mondays is my solo episodes with all my heart to heart between you and me. On Fridays is the heart to heart between me and my guest. So today we have a guest. Where do I start? It's just an amazing. When I contacted her, it seems like we have known each other for years, but obviously that's not true. But we will make sure that we will be connected right after these shows, and for sure. So let me introduce her one thing: a Bollywood X. What is that? Shark Tank. Who is that? What is that? American Got Talent. Wow. Fitness? A bully? Whoa, bully with Bali X and dancing? That doesn't make sense, but we'll talk about that today. The guest that we have today is Dr. Sarah Qureshi, and she's a doctor. No, not a surgeon doctor. She's a psychologist and criminologist, and we'll get into that basics here. So, doctor, I'm going to call you doctor now.
You call me Dr. Q. That's my professional name.
Dr. Q. Okay,
Dr.
you know
Q,
what?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think this is what we're gonna say, Dr. Q. So, Dr. Q, thanks for coming on this show today.
Thank you for having me, Girish.
Yeah. So, tell me, how does it feel to be on Back to Basics?
Oh, this is exciting. When you did first reach out to me and told me about your podcast and the nature of it, I was like, yeah, this has been really fun. I have been on several interviews across the US, in the UK, and I've been interviewed even in Canada. But this was something very different. I like the whole concept of back to basics and everything that you represent, and even the topics that you discuss as well. It's it is very, very diverse. So yeah, excited to be on the show. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you so much. So Dr. Q, I'm gonna call you Dr. Q in this
Thank you.
episode.
That's fine. Yeah. Mhm.
So first thing is you're not a doctor. You are a doctor of something. So explain that to the people that
Sure.
were yeah.
Yes, I mean, I am not a doctor of medicine. I'm a doctor of philosophy. So I have a PhD,
Mhm,
which I did complete in the UK back in 2011 when I graduated.
mhm,
I have a complex background because I would say social sciences because of the nature of everything. The discipline is sociology and criminology, so you have that right. But psychology is the actual research. I actually did my academic research on high school bullying and racism. So I was actually in schools, I was interviewing children in 11 to 15 in classrooms, focus groups, individually. I was talking to teachers, youth workers, as well as parents. So from there onwards, once I had graduated, I moved back to the States. I was living there, and I started doing work with schools, presentations, conferences, just to sort of promote my work and just sort of get a feel and try to move more into the consultation side of the nature as opposed to just being an academic. I
mhm.
have taught at university, I've taught sociology and as well as the fitness, which I know you'll get into.
Yes.
But in 2015, I did form my own small organization called Action Against Bullying.
Mhm,
I've just registered in the UK in August.
mhm.
So Action Against Bullying really it does give a significant training not only to young people but to adults in terms of workshops. I am going to be making a general shift, and that's because I have actually consulted and helped people on all areas, so from relationships through to workplace bullying.
Mhm.
And I have that background, even though my research was specific in schools and I published in that area, but I've also read widely in about workplace bullying. There are no specific certifications to take. I am DASA certified, which is the New York Dignity for All for Students Act. It's something that you need to do work in schools in New York. But in New Jersey, they have their own harassment intervention, program, HIB. So there's no specific training. It's more about getting into the schools and working with the school counselors. It's a different system back in the UK. They have a pastoral care, and there's much more opportunity to get into schools. But because I have had that opportunity to really be widespread with the consultation, I've decided to make Action Against Bullying a pure consultation business. I'm also a certified health and life coach, which I got certified in 2018. It was a year-long course with Health Coach Institute. It's internationally accredited. And I'm focusing mostly on domestic violence and bullying, which is not physical. Why? Because it made sense. It's over 16 years of my academic, experience with bullying, and how much I read widely into how it affects, also some personal experiences with people who I taught, at gyms, with my fitness classes. So I decided that was an area to tap into, purely because of the actual impacts, and it's so widely unsupported. And so much more awareness needs to be done. So this is something that I have, since I've been back in the UK, I have been focusing a lot more on bullying in terms of domestic violence. But having said that, I was on an Instagram live just on Wednesday. I'm doing a series with a colleague who's also a health coach about the impact of online bullying and harassment during the pandemic amongst young children. So, I have the specialism, pretty much all over. So I would generally consider myself as an overall consultant. And
so do you think that the bullying and the founding of this whole LLC that you created based out of UK, you think that was your back to basic moment for you? Where did this all started for you? I mean, I'm pretty sure something must have happened to trigger this.
To be honest, when I moved back to the States, I did want to work with organizations, particularly who worked with schools in areas of bullying. And I had such a struggle trying to get the job. So it was a suggestion from my, I'll say ex-husband now, to form my own organization. The struggle that I've had is that being on my own, it hasn't been easy to get into schools. It's more of a contracted thing. You can't just go in week in and week out. It's different over here in the UK and building up the network. But I have been approached by various schools. I have done work in schools from Brooklyn through to New York City, Rockland County in New York, Central Jersey, as well as South Jersey and Northern Jersey as well. So I have had that experience.
So is bullying kind of the same between the US and the UK?
Bullying, the nature of it, the nature of bullying is probably the same worldwide. It's the type of bullying and the age, and it's such a complex subject, which is why it took me 6.5 years to get the PhD, because it is the general nature, understanding just what bullying is, and not many people understand. And my sociology and criminology background helped me to sort of put together the theory of bullying. It's not just from a psychological perspective. That's talking about the mindset of the bully, the perpetrator, but not about the victim and the bystanders and the socio-economic environment, what triggers bullying. So I would say the nature of bullying amongst young children, again, the age differs, is probably the synonymous worldwide. And the same with bullying amongst adults, whether it's in the workplace is very similar, or within relationships, within families, or in the community. Another thing that what comes under the nature of bullying is, I would say, is more indirect, which a lot of South Asian countries and third world countries don't even acknowledge, but the Western world does. And that is more about social isolation, rumor spreading.
Oh, it's still frozen.
Going on here, but I hope you got hold of that.
Yes, yeah. Well, most of it, but that's okay. So let me explain something here. No. It's good. It's good. It's all good. So let me let's say as a kid, if I start pushing someone, is that bullying?
It depends on why you're pushing the person, and if it's just to wind them up. If it's something, ultimately, when it comes to bullying, Rish, it's about intention to harm.
Yes.
So anything which is either a one-off incident or it's a long-term incident, if there's intention to harm, then yes, it's bullying. And the person who's on the receiving end will know whether it's bullying or whether they're just being, somebody's teasing them.
Yes, yes. So let me explain that, and then we'll divert
Sure.
to something else because I think it's
Hmm.
too detailed for the audience here. So
Yes, it's
there
complex.
is there is a movie. I'm not sure if you've seen it or not. It's a Bollywood movie. Okay,
Hmm.
Bollywood movie is called Tupper. Okay, in English translation, it's called Slap.
Yes,
Okay,
I have
now
heard. I haven't seen it.
okay, so what's happening is I won't give it away because it seems like you have not seen the movie,
No.
but the real truth is a husband slaps the wife
Hmm.
not knowingly in public in one of the parties. Okay, it was
Hmm.
not in a violent way. It was not in
Hmm.
any way. It was just that one slap. Okay, now the
Hmm.
question is that there's no problem between these things, but the problem is that you slapped somebody. Now,
Yeah.
later on, it could escalate to something else. So she divorced him towards the end of it. That's different. But the thing
Okay.
is that we didn't want the violence to be, escalated, let's say. And I think that that was a beautiful movie, and someone should watch this. It's on Netflix, I'm
Mm.
pretty sure, or Prime. I'm not really sure. It's one of those platforms, but
Right.
you are gonna like this movie. And I'm
Hmm.
talking to Dr. Q also and my audience. It's a very good movie, and it
Hmm.
describes bullying in a nice, sweet, non-violent way. So it's a very nice movie that you should watch, and that's a
Hmm.
recommendation by Back to Basics and
Yeah.
Dr. Q. Um,
Hmm.
so okay, so let's divert a little. So Bali X, what
Yes.
is that? I mean, I know it.
BollyX is a dance fitness program that is inspired by the Bollywood film industry.
Hmm.
It is a fitness program. It does follow the HIIT, which is the high interval intensity training program. It does have that dance element, and it does have different dance styles, mainly Bollywood folk and Bhangra. But the unique thing about BollyX compared to other Bollywood format programs, it is a program that really works. It's very universal. It's something that has grown. It's from a young team, and how can I describe it? It's just something that just engages. Their main tagline is to unleash your inner rock star. So it's essentially it's about teaching people bringing the Indian culture of dance into the fitness, and it's about the person's mindset, allowing everyone. I mean, Bollywood is probably Indian dance that probably, but not many people know what goes into Bollywood dance, what goes into Bhangra, into folk. So these are different styles that are very sort of, they are, clear cut, but it does focus on the whole body. So there are songs for upper, lower body. We have even some combat songs, all the latest, and even songs that are popped from the past. But the most unique thing about Bolly X, in addition to being a very, very effective and fun workout, is that the instructors and the team, they're not all South Asian. Even the HQ, even though BollyX was officially brought together by Shahil Patel, who's the CEO, the former president Meenal Mehta, so that she's in New York, and then there's a Mayuri, I've forgotten her last name. She sort of helped that with the launch in New York and Boston, and then but it's now mainly Shahil, and he's got his own team. But HQ, you've got, it's very international. You've got American, you've got from the
Yeah.
Middle East, you've got Chinese background. And about Bolly X is that it's something that anybody can do, and the music is just so engaging, and they have different formats. So similar to Zumba, they have different formats, and it has a structured choreography, but it's different to a regular Bollywood format because I think it's a whole workout.
Yeah.
Because as you know, traditional Indian dance is not easy to do. I started doing Kathak back in 2000 when I was living in New York City.
Hmm.
But I realized that that's a program you should be doing for a very young age, like ballet. You can't be in your 40s and go to start doing ballet. And that's very similar with a lot of Bollywood Indian dance styles. And when I was teaching at New Jersey City University, and I put this into my students, I said that, anything classical, anything traditional, you need to have years and years of experience. but everybody wants to have that Bollywood feeling that they can do it. So it's very clever how the Bollywood team have put it together. I mean, some popular songs, they'll have key signature moves from the video, from the movie, and then, but they'll put it into a real workout. So it does work your arm, it does work your abs, it does work the legs and knees. You have, put into how we are taught, we have to be into real posture, for like 3 hours during our training, we're like got our knees bent.
Yeah.
Because if our posture alignment is incorrect, then our students, our participants, it's going to be, even worse. And now being on Zoom, when I teach, I can't see what they're doing. They can see what I'm doing. So I have to really focus on it. So that is essentially what BolyX is. It does, you can burn up to about 850 calories. So it's, I think with Zumba is 500, but it's essentially that whole, it's not a Bollywood format. It's a dance fitness program inspired by the Bollywood, film industry.
Yeah.
So popular songs that come out, and even a lot of hip hop, and they have a lot of songs to do from Honey Yo-Yo Sing, and oh gosh, a lot of people who are not necessarily in Bollywood, but their music is very popular.
Yeah. So no, go ahead. Go ahead.
So it started off, they launched in 2013, 2014. I started attending classes at the end of 2014. Then I was one of the few to attend the workshop at the end of 2014. We had exams, we had to do a whole choreography, learned, do an introduction, and we had 8 weeks to practice that. So I got certified in, I think, February 2015. So it's going on 5 years. And I started teaching with the former New Jersey regional trainer, Latifa Fleming. Knee issues, she just had to cut down on it, but she was amazing. And so I used to co-teach BolyX classes with her before I'd start getting my own. And my main break was in Edison, the YMCA.
Oh, nice. So you got certified in 2015, and 2016, I think you came out with 4 courses.
Okay, that is separate from teaching BolyX as a fitness class in gyms.
Gotcha.
This was a very unique opportunity that I got in New Jersey City University. As I've told you, my background is sociology criminology, but I've been teaching within the Department of Fitness, Exercise and Sports. So how I got into that is from another fitness program called Boko, which is phenomenal. And that is taken from the creative South African background, dance route of Kwaito. That is all about moving in letters and digits, and we use the sign language of the hands. So there's no structure, but it's very effective, and you can burn, oh my God, almost 12 to 1,500 calories in one session. It has different formats, but it's nothing like Zumba or BolyX. There's no learning choreography. You're learning the steps, and it's at each level. Then you have remix steps. So I was to university to basically reshuffle the curriculum, and so when we connected, she asked me what was my background. I said, okay, I've got my PhD in this. I've been teaching Boko for about 4 or 5 years. I've just got certified in BolyX. And then she said, Sarah, I'm totally redoing the curriculum and I want courses on Boko. How do you feel about doing it? And I'm like, well, I've never done it before. So she sent me different examples of course proposals. I went to a dance festival in Dubai, came back, and we were already late because it was like after September. So I had about 30 hours. I wrote 3 programs. So one was for Boko Punch and Strike, Boko Dance, and BolyX. The 4th program was Playa Yoga, which is yoga and plyometrics, but I never got to teach that. And I just got certified in that, but it's something, I'm more of a dancer, but I did, write that program. So 2016 in September was when I actually got enough students enrolled. Otherwise, they hired me in the January, but because of the enrollment and, obviously the programs were not as well known, I got onto I got enough students enrolled in September 2016. And from there onwards, my classes just skyrocketed. Our department had the highest student enrollment out of the entire university for straight 3 years because of my Boko and BolyX classes.
So Dr. Q, I don't know if you know or not, and I want to tell my audience the same thing here. Now, I'm not going to give out my age, but back in the 90s, we grew up, or I grew up in New Jersey. Back in the 90s, it was not really much of stage shows or anything like that. So what they did is they created a show called Nea Andaz back in the 90s. It was based out of
Okay.
New Jersey, and
Hmm.
right now you know him as Rahul Dolakia, and he's the director of Bollywood movies like Rais and all that. But he started
Okay.
in New York City with me in the
Hmm.
college, and he said, "You know what? I'm gonna go and direct a show." And I'm like, okay, what is the show about? He says dance competition. I'm like, okay, well, that's really good
Sure.
because that is my passion too.
Mm-hmm.
So I entered into that dance competition, didn't win anything. That's okay. But 3 years later, I came up with another dance choreography, and I won third place. And that was a different. And the guest
Hmm.
star was some Bollywood actor and actress both,
Hmm.
and that's how I got my fame of dance.
Right.
But I am a
Good for you.
dancer. I am a dancer in heart.
Hmm.
But people have to understand, my audience, my listeners, just understand that dancing is more of an expression. It could be
Yes.
sadness, it could be happiness, it could be any of emotion that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, any age group can dance. People, they keep on saying that, oh, I can't dance. Dance is just an expression. You just sit down and you can do expressions. You can
Yes.
stand and do expressions. You can move your hand up and do expressions. So
Hmm.
I mean that dancing, people, when they think of dance, they think of, hip hop and
Yes.
break
Hmm.
dancing, and
Yes.
but which is incorrect. It's more of an
Hmm.
expression than anything else. Now
Hmm.
back to Bali X. Now,
Hmm.
when I contacted Dr. Q, I have started Bali X training. Almost, it's been a month now that I've been doing this, and I'm loving this so far. And I agree with Dr. Q. It seems like there is some type of muscle that I didn't realize that it was there, and
Hmm.
and and I'm telling you, it does work. It makes you
Yeah.
more active, makes you more I don't know, it brings a more oomph into the life, or
It increases
pizzazz.
your agility. Yeah, it increases the agility and coordination.
Yes, yes, it does. And then
That
it
is a
comes
key
back.
focus.
So it comes back, and she is Dr. Q is correct. It's not only about Indian people giving training to the
Mhm.
class. There are other ones that I have noticed. There are some Spanish music that I've seen, and some
Mhm.
salsa that I've seen. So it's a mixture of
Yes.
all that. Yes,
Yes.
we call it Bali X, but there are other mixtures of that.
Yes.
But Dr. Q, so I was kind of fascinated when I actually saw Bali X on Shark Tank,
Uh-huh. Yes.
and it's amazing how that came, and I'm like, wow, that's just amazing, and it's great. So how does that feel for Bali X to be there, and how does that feel for you, that you're part of this small journey?
Well, I've been with Bolix pretty much since the beginning, and more than Shark Tank, they won the Harvard Business School New Innovative Awards for New York and Boston, and I was part of their presentation.
Mhm.
This was in 2015, the middle of the year,
Mm.
and out of all different candidates, there were people who had similar apps to LinkedIn, different kind of sort of very different sort of genres of type of innovation. We won, and I think it's because of the inclusivity. First of all, they didn't put a TV, with things. We did a live presentation of a performance piece, and that just wowed the audience, which I knew it would. But it was more about how bringing everybody together. Now, Shark Tank, okay, Shahil didn't win any any of the people, the dragons, but what he did do, he really did put Bolly X into a international limelight, and it's been great. It's attracted a bigger audience, especially for their Bolly X on demand. They do, you can register and have a live streaming classes, make your own thing, programs as well, and they have been they've done a choreography for the New York City Knicks. They even did a choreography for the Gala Chushma song, and they had the actress and actress. They were on CNN, so they have really got the good. They're a very bright young, bunch of team, and educated, from Harvard MBA, MIT, UCL, Berkeley. So and with the sports science and fitness background, so they've just been so unique in not only showing Bollywood as a cultural dance, but in so much fun, but also exposing Bolly X, but also songs say, okay, this would be good for an upper body song or a dance song or performance. We can even do a choreography, and if they find it'll work, they will take that on board. because of the instructors speaking to us, we've got a low impact training because we have our target audience in gyms where they're older audience or people who are new to exercise and they're not able to do all that jumping up and down. And when you came to that collaboration class that I did,
Hmm.
you could see that we had very different styles of dance. And, I do tend to jump up and down. That's just me. But, so they have different formats and then they've recognized for kids want to do it. So they have a completely different kind of a BolyX program for young children. So the Shark Tank is just an example of the diversity of BolyX.
Mm. Do
It's
you
it's
do you
more than
think do
Zumba.
you think
Sure.
that the Bollywood dancing or Bali X or whatever you want to call it, but do you think it's a, a taboo? Because when people they think of Bollywood movies and Bollywood dancing, it's
Yeah.
they think back in the days. Things are different now. So how you think it's a struggle still today, or do you think that it's getting a lot better?
Um, I don't think Bollywood's ever really been much of a struggle. I think it's improved and great. I mean, in the UK, the Indian and Pakistani culture is the number one thing. Is like Bollywood, Indian music. Everybody's watching something Bollywood and knows more about Bollywood than even us, South Asians do. Maybe a little bit more in America because of the Hispanic culture. That still is the largest. But I think it all depends where you are. In New York City, no, it's an area where people love to dance. That's why Zumba is so big.
Mm,
Vogue has been a lot more popular in, I would say, the Midwest and Florida, California, where you have more exposure and people are more into the fitness level.
mm,
That is a struggle that I've had getting Boqua into gyms as opposed to BolyX. The difference between BolyX and people, it's about what really gets them inside the heart, and that committed. They will come. I've been to several gyms. I've introduced BolyX at festivals in South New Brunswick, and it's a program that everybody loves. From the music, the dance steps, our facial, and I'm very expression with my face and the arms as well. It's a real performance. It's a real show. You don't
mm.
just come and just do a quiet dance. That's not what Bollywood is about. But I would say it's something that is growing. I think BolyX is a program that is growing in the States. Now it's growing across Western Europe, in the UK. They've got instructors in India, even Pakistan. And it's growing widely in Canada. So it's always the growth of any program is down to the instructors and what we bring to it and that training. And it's how much we are generally a real family. I mean, I'm on 3 different WhatsApp BolyX groups, and I'm chatting to people in Australia and in India, and such a supportive network. The amount of collaboration classes that's going on a week, there's about 60 different BolyX classes going on a week. I can't attend them all, but it's amazing in such a short span of time. Another great thing that, with the brains of BolyX is that they're understanding that the online world is becoming quite an important thing. So there's going to be a strong online presence, which is also going to grow the program. So I don't see a struggle for BolyX as much. It's more about those who really resonate with the program will keep on joining, and who knows, actually get certified. I was teaching in Edison YMCA, and through my classes, I had 1 class a week. 2 people in my classes got certified as BolyX instructors.
Nice.
And there was one girl who was teaching 3 times a week. Then there was another girl, Sakshi, who both our class of population, Zumba instructor, but she made up her own choreography. She had 5 classes at the YMCA. Yet still, on a Sunday morning at 8:30, I would have close to 35, 40 people
Mm.
every week.
So
So it's a matter of what resonates with the person and how popular a thing is.
Dr. Q, so let's say hypothetically I mean you guys went to Shark Tank but didn't get anything.
Yeah.
Suppose just hypothetically, if you went
Mhm.
to Shark Tank today, what do you think it would be different compared to what you did last time?
Well, I wasn't on the Shark Tank. I mean, I did
Yes.
watch
Yes.
it.
Yes.
I think it's more a matter of the business proposal. It was a little far-fetched and a little bit too much spent on the technology with all the online demand. I think the fact that they've toned that down a little bit and they've now started releasing choreography on YouTube, I think um, I think that is something that what might actually work now to get more funding. And
Do you think now
it's
is because we're so fascinated with online stuff, nothing to
yes.
do with COVID? I
Mhm.
think I think in the last maybe couple of years, I think we have noticed a trend that it's going to be more online versus going to
Yes,
the actual studio itself.
yes. Definitely would help this they having more online certifications. It isn't as much fun though, being in a group, but
Yeah.
that is something. Even once we're off lockdown, they're going to have they started the online certifications for
Yes.
people in a different country, so they can tune in, and it's like half a day as opposed to a full day. Then you just record the choreography.
Yeah.
So that is something that is going to be an ongoing thing, I think. The virtual teaching on Zoom, I think that might actually be more ongoing once the pandemic is over, when they're not have quite decided. But I'm part of like the leadership team. I was one of the first ambassadors for New Jersey. And in one of the meetings that we had, and I was actually in quarantine when I moved back to England, and Shahil was talking a lot about the way we are moving forward with the online world.
Hmm.
So I think BolyX is going to be moving forward, yes, in gyms, and having presentations and these fitness conventions, but online presence as well. So I
Hmm.
think that is something that's going to be good. There's been a number of instructors who got certified under the lockdown period.
Hmm.
So that's pretty impressive.
Hmm.
And, growing their audience, and that's hard.
Yeah.
I still have about 80%, 90% of my audience are coming from New York and New Jersey, and those who are either came to my home or they came to the YMCA are joining me. I'm trying to, make it more wider to the UK side, get more target there. But there've been some instructors who have just not really got much of a dance fitness background started, and they've already got 20, 30 people who
Yeah.
come to the classes weekly.
Yeah.
So that's
So
great.
I want my listeners to know that it's kind of easy and hard at the same time to be a instructor. Okay. Just follow the
Mm-hmm.
instructions. It's quite
Yes.
easy. I mean, I did talk to Dr. Q about this, that supposedly if I want to be, what is a process for that? And it's quite clean process. There's no, jumbling of papers and all that stuff, but
No.
it's a very clean training program.
Yes.
So you just have to concentrate on that part. Now, if you
Mm-hmm.
contact Dr. Q, I'm pretty sure she can guide you in a better way of what's the best practice for you. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
Bollywood X or Bali X is not for you, but at
Yes.
least thinking the process of starting a process is the key.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And Dr. Q, if anyone contacts you, let them know that the where did you hear this, and they will say back to basics, and hopefully that's where the
Absolutely.
yes. Thank you so much.
I actually got involved with BolyX because I wanted to teach a Bollywood format. But to be honest, Garish, with my work at university, with all my action against bullying, I don't have time to make up a choreography. So I was introduced to BolyX by a friend who was teaching Bollywood classes at a gym that I was teaching Bokwa in.
Mm,
And that's where Latifa was. It was lucky. I lived in Montvale. This was Westwood, 10 minutes. I went to the first class and I loved it. And I
mm,
went straight to the front and she said, "Yo, you've been coming to my classes." I said, "No, but I want to get certified." It's
yeah.
something you want to do. You
Yes.
will know if you want to get certified and teach. You will know if you just want to attend. You will know if you want to get the BolyX on demand. So it's what kind of instructor becomes and how much you put into it. It all comes from within.
Yes, yes. But
It's all
Dr.
from within.
Dr. Q, I know that you are so busy with everything that's going on with your action against bullying and Bali eggs and the training classes that you're dealing with, and you took a little extra time to come to this show, and I thank you for that.
Thank you very
And
much for having me on the
and
show.
I'm very very honored that you are on this show. Now, before I let you go, uh, what is your last back to basic moment for you, and any last words before you leave?
Um, it's a show I didn't want to stop. Just keep on going. I'm having fun. It's a good, topic. It's sort of, we have a similar sort of background and passion with dance and how it's fitted. I would have liked to talk a little bit more about the health and nutrition side as a life coach, but that might be for something another day. But it's been a fun experience overall and great host. You've done
Yeah,
your research well, the questions, very professional.
thank you so much.
I've enjoyed it.
Thank you, Dr. Q, for coming on the show. So
Thank you.
guys, Thanks for coming. And as usual, as always, I am very blessed to have great audience and great listeners and guests. So before we leave today, uh, this show always has a quote of the day. And the quote of the day is: nobody cares if you can't dance well. Just get up and dance. Great dancers are great because they're passion. And that is by Martha Graham. Now, just keep in mind, just like what I said during the show, dancing is within. It's not an action. It's all about emotions. And that's what we did today. We talked to Dr. Q today regarding this. And as I always say at the end of the episode, everything in life goes back to basics. And that's what we did today, guys. You enjoy your day, and I'll see you next week. And hope I'll keep on giving you quality show. Thank you again, guys. God bless. Bye bye. Next week's episode on Back to Basics.
And so, yeah, I would say that I had three significant emotional events in my life that really uh, were moved me forward in my life, made me learn a lot about myself, and a lot of the lessons that it took to come out on the other side, a stronger and wiser woman, are actually in the book. And so, what are those three? Well, I'm a breast cancer survivor of 26 years. And that in itself is hearing that you have cancer, and hearing that I had cancer was like, wow, it was such a shock. And i I'm such a curious person that I had to understand the why, the emotional and spiritual.